So what does this tell us? This tells us that there are 10 kings, and they will be in power at the time of the second coming of Jesus Christ. And they will actually fight against Jesus Christ when he comes back to this earth. So when the prophecy in Daniel 2 says, in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, he's talking about the 10 kings symbolized by the 10 toes. In Revelation chapter 17, when it says there are 10 horns, and these represent 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast, or with the Antichrist. We're looking at the exact same picture. We're going to take this from here as soon as we come back from the short break. What we want to do now, Eddie, is to see if this prophecy has anything to do with us right now, and the fact is it does, as you well know. We want to take a look at what is happening. We're actually witnessing the rebirth of the Holy Roman Empire right now. Now, the Holy Roman Empire has come and gone since 800 AD. There have been many rulers of the Holy Roman Empire. We've come through the entire Habsburg dynasty. We've come through a lot of eras. We've seen Napoleon, who tried to lay claim to the Holy Roman Empire throne. But the Bible says the Holy Roman Empire is going to be in force at the time of the second coming of Jesus Christ. Now, we believe that we're living in the time of the second coming of Christ right now. So we have to be looking, where is the Holy Roman Empire? Is it happening right now?
Very close. Could have happened during Hitler's time. He had a concordat signed with the Vatican. If he had fully succeeded in taking over Europe and continuing on, he was in league with the Roman Catholic Church in that instance, with Pope Pius XII.
Yeah, he did, in fact, anticipate that he was going to be a leader of the Holy Roman Empire. But as usual, he got to the point he didn't want to listen to the Pope at all, so the same problem all over again. Rivalry between the political leader and the spiritual leader. He actually did sign a concordat with the Pope, but then after a while he became so powerful he said, I don't have to listen to you. Okay, so the question is, what is happening right now? In 1957, something really interesting happened in Europe. Now, let me set the stage for you. After World War II, two superpowers came onto the world scene, the United States of America and the Soviet Union. Those were the two nuclear powers. And for the next 40 years or so, the world was basically ruled by those two forces. However, the old traditional centers of power in this earth, they belonged to Europe. Europe was suddenly shunted aside and didn't enjoy this demotion very much. So the leaders of Europe got together and said, if we're going to play a very meaningful role in the future of the world, no longer can a nation of 40 million or 60 million really assert its influence in world affairs. You've got the United States with 250 million. You've got the Soviet Union with 280 million. These are the superpowers of our day. So they begin to dream of the birth of a third superpower. They actually called it at the time the United States of Europe. And they begin to think, if we could join ourselves together into a third superpower, then Europe would not lose its influence. Well, they decided to form an economic union first. Their logic was, if we join together economically, then political union will inevitably follow. So in 1957, they formed what is known as the Common Market. 6 nations came together. I'll see if I can remember them for you. It was France, Germany, West Germany at the time. Of course, you know, Germany was split at the time. Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Belgium. Those were the 6 countries that formed the European Common Market. There were others in Europe that said, we don't think we want to surrender sovereignty to that level, so they hung back. But in 1957, that union was formed. Well, it was so successful that others began to clamor to get in. Then the union grew from 6, then to 9, then to 10, then to 12, then to 15. That's where it is right now. Ultimately, it's going to be 25 nations. As of May of 2004, they are supposed to bring in 10 more nations, so that means the European Common Market will be a union of 25 nations with a population of 455 million people. Now, some things were happening along the way. Their first goal was total economic union. They achieved that by 1993. By 1993, you could raise a crop in Germany and sell it in France, just like here in the States we could raise a crop in Indiana and sell it in Ohio. You can live in one country and work in the other. Right now, today, if you're a German, you're living in Germany, you can pick up and move to France. You don't have to get permission. You can move to France and you can vote in the next French elections. We are watching the creation right now of a virtual United States of Europe. Now, all of that was completed by 1993. In the meantime, the borders are falling. You can rent a car, drive through Europe today, no borders between these nations. Now, this is an incredible and historic development to see the merging of Europe on this particular scale. Well, in 1993, a new goal had to be set, and that is political union. They decided that the next big step would be to have a common money. So they decided they would develop a common currency, and they did that. By 1999, it was introduced. It's called the euro. By now, you have heard of the euro because the euro is beating the daylights out of the value of our dollar. 2 years ago, it took 85 cents to buy a euro. Today, it takes $1.30 to $1.35 to buy a euro. The euro has increased in value by 50% in the last 2 years. It's a very powerful and strong currency because it represents 455 million people as of May of 2004. So this is the progression that we're going through. Now, not only has the euro been formed, they've now begun to harmonize their foreign policies to a great degree. Now, here in the year 2004, there are big, big plans for Europe. Europe has never had a popularly elected president. They are scheduling European elections for this year. They plan to have a European president. They plan to have a European military. Those moves are already being made. They already have a parliament of the European Union. They're planning a constitution this year. They're hoping to have it by the end of this year of 2004 when we're making this program. They're planning on having a military. All of the trappings that they're going to need in order to have a United States of Europe, they are planning on doing it right now. Now, here's the question. Is this present resurgence of Europe and this unification taking place, is it or is it not the Holy Roman Empire? And that's what we want to talk to you about. Now, in order to do that, I want to talk right now about the Charlemagne Prize. We mentioned that in the open of the program. But the Charlemagne Prize, I never heard of it before, Eddie, until I heard about Bill Clinton being awarded. It's one of those articles that shows up on the back page, about that big, you know. Most people pay no attention to it, but because I knew Charlemagne was the first emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, and that Europe looks to him as the father of modern-day Europe, I thought, what is Bill Clinton doing receiving the Charlemagne Prize? Well, I read the rest of the article, and here's basically what they said. They said that because Clinton led the charge into Yugoslavia, dethroned Mr. Milosevic. Milosevic was a holdout to the European Union. He was not willing to give up the sovereignty of Yugoslavia necessary to merge into the European Union. Consequently, he was a block to the grand design for the future of the world. Well, President Clinton and the powers that be knew that. Consequently, they made premise to invade Yugoslavia. They started talking about, I remember I started reading these articles about genocide, you know. And I remember one day, Eddie, I picked up the paper and it said that there was fresh dirt spotted in Yugoslavia. And I read that and said, fresh dirt? There's fresh